Okay, so heights of tension is being seen because of the Russia nowadays. United States has put the tariff on India. United States has put tariff on India as 50%, 50% tariff. And they are saying that this is a something like punishment to India, punitive on the India for importing crude oil from the Russia. Crude oil from the Russia, India is importing, and that's why we are putting a punitive tariff on India. Now, actually, I was thinking that this country, what is the oil game in the world? The crude oil looks like people are not dying for the water. People are dying for the crude oil. Everywhere there is a game of crude oil is going on. What is the game of crude oil? Then I was seeing the game of the crude oil. Okay, in that fashion, India, China, China, and United States, India, China, and United States, more or less, they are the biggest consumer of oil right now. India stands third in the world as far as consumption of the petrol is concerned. I mean, crude oil is concerned. India consumes 5.2 million barrel crude oil per day, more or less. 5.2 billion, sorry, 5.2 million. Million means 10 lakhs. 10 lakhs. 1,000,000. India consumes 5.2 billion barrel crude oil per day. Okay, this is the statistics of the India. China consumes more or less 13 million barrel per day. And United States consume more or less 18 million barrel or 19 million barrel per day. These are the consumption of these three countries. These are the highest. Okay, then I was seeing that why these countries are fighting for the crude oil. Tariff on this country, that country, why are you importing crude oil from Russia, from here, there? What is the actual condition of this country? United States is the largest consumer of the crude oil in the world. 19 million barrel per day. America consume per day. India consume around 5.2 million barrel per day. Means America more or less consume four times the crude oil than India per day. China consumes 13 to 14 million barrel per day, around more than two times than India. India is the most populous country in the world. Then I was thinking, what is this country's productivity? How much they produce the crude oil that they are fighting like this? Okay, then I saw that United States is the largest producer of crude oil nowadays. Largest producer of crude oil, followed by Saudi Arabia. India stands 23rd. India is producing more or less around 1 million barrel crude oil per day. 1 million barrel crude oil per day, more or less. Little less than that. China is producing more or less 4.5 million barrel per day. That is not less. But their consumption is so high that China is also importing crude oil from the Russia. See the United States, their consumption is so high, even though United States is the largest producer of crude oil per day, still America import crude oil from the Middle East. Okay, I was seeing these three major consumer of the crude oil per day, China, India and America. What is the crude oil productivity of this country? Actually, I was saying this. I have a data on this. Okay, we are talking about crude oil production by the country. Crude oil production by the country. For India, China, and America, these countries they import, they are fighting for the crude oil. America is putting punitive tariff on India. Then it is talking about punitive tariff on China. China is importing all of its crude oil from the Russia. India is importing all of the crude oils from the foreign country. What is the scene? Why America is so angry on these countries because they are importing crude oil from the Russia? Are these countries they are not producing any crude oil? India is not producing any crude oil. Why it is running behind Russia? China is not producing any crude oil. Why it is running behind Russia for the crude oil? What is the production and what is the consumption of China and India? This is the mainly I was trying to see. Okay. Means can India be self-dependent country as far as crude oil is concerned? I was saying India more or less some places I have seen around 800,000 0.8 million barrel per day. India produces crude oil on its own, but India total consumption is 5.2 million barrel per day. So India produces, if I can say, that around 15% of the crude oil what India needs, 15%, 1 5, India produces only 1 5, 85% of its need. India import from the outside. That is the problem with the India. Anyway, what is the oil consumption of the India and oil production of the India year wise? In 1980, India oil consumption was zero point 0.7 million barrel per day in 1980, and its production was zero point 0.2 million barrel per day. Means the gap was only zero point 0.5 million per day, zero point 0.5 million barrel per day. India was importing in 1980 time frame. Okay, 1984 India production was zero point 0.5 million per day and it was consuming zero point 0.8 million per day. Gap was only zero point 0.3 million barrel per day. That's it. Means if India had control since then only, but after that, the see 1988 India production was zero point 0.6 million barrel per day. Consumption was 1 million barrel per day. Zero point 0.4 is the gap now. 1992 India's production was 0.55 million barrel per day, reduced, where consumption grew to 1.3 million per day. 1996 India production was zero point 0.6 million barrel per day, whereas consumption was 1.4 million per day. Now gap is growing. 2000 production was 0.065 million barrel per day, whereas its consumption was 2 million barrel per day. The gap is growing. 2004 consumption was the production was zero point 0.7 million barrel per day. Consumption was 2.4 million barrel per day. 2008 production was 0.75 million barrel per day, where consumption was 2.8 million barrel per day. 2012 production was zero point 0.8 million barrel per day. Consumption was 3.2 million barrel per day. 2012, 2016, in 4 year gap between 2012 to 2016, production was zero point 0.8 million barrel per day. 2012, zero point 0.8 million barrel per day. Consumption was 3.2 million barrel per day. 2016, production was 1 million barrel per day. Right now also it is 1 million barrel per day. Consumption was 4.5 million barrel per day. In 4 year time frame 2012 to 2016, the consumption grew by 1.3 million per day. It grew by that much. Okay, leave the production. Miss Indian government, it was promoting people to use petroleum product, use LPG cylinder, use tractor and fertilizer in your agricultural field. Don't use ox based, don't do ox based or plowing or hull based, ox based agriculture. Don't do like that. Use tractor or power tiller. Use that. Okay, don't use your charhat or something to take out water from the land, from the well. Instead, you use motor, Peter. This is what you use. This is called promoting people to use oil because India import oil and then sell it people at a much higher price, and government earns a lot of money. Anyway, that is the inside story. Outside story is Indian rupee is falling against the dollar. If you when India is purchasing oil from the outside, it has to pay in the dollar. So India has to get the dollar. In that fashion, India rupee is falling. But Indian government is earning through its people. At the end, people are suffering. But this is how it is. In 4 years time frame from 2012 to 2014, India oil consumption grew by 1.3 million barrel per day. This is government of India. Right now, it is 5.2 million barrel per day is the need of India per day. Okay, it started with zero point 0.7 in 1980. This 1980 to 84, The consumption gap is 0.1 million barrel per day in 4 years. Population grew by twice. The 1980 what the population of India was, and right now it is double. Population is double, but 1980 to 84 the consumption of the crude oil gap is 0.1 million barrel per day. That's it. Difference in 4 years. In 2012 to 2016, the gap is 1.3 million barrel per day. This is called hype. This is called how government is looting the people. Use petrol. Okay, don't walk. Use motorbike. And then in television, ads are coming. Volkswagen car, and this car, Ford car, and this car, and that car. And then Alto, let's go. And this, that. People are thinking that this is the life. This is the life. Okay, I don't have any bicycle also. I'm not surviving. I don't have bicycle also. I'm not surviving. Okay, but this is the life. This is the life. This is the life. How you? I never fall sick. Anyone can see me. I never fall sick in my life. In any day, I never fall sick. But people who are car, bike, this, that, what falling sick, they are dying of corona. Okay, I never caught corona. I never took any immunization also. I never took any corona injection or something like that. Never did I wear mask also if I'm not going to any public place. Okay, this is present day India. What I'm trying to say is, if India is facing a threat from America for the tariff because it is importing crude oil from the Russia, it is unnecessary. This is what I'm trying to say. If India had started crude oil usage from zero point 0.7 million barrel per day in 1980, if it had focused on its indigenous industry. If we see industry in India since 1984, nothing has changed. If I see automobile industry, same Tata and Maruti is there, nothing has changed. Otherwise, all are foreign cars only. If you see on the road, and Ashok Leyland. Ashok Leyland was there when I was child. Tata was there when I was child. When Maruti Suzuki was there when then I was child. That's it. It is same now also. Otherwise, whatever people see in the road, all the cars, all are foreigners' cars. They make in India, but all are foreigners only. Whatever Indian market, the consumption of the oil, crude oil, it grew in the industrial sector because of the foreign country coming to the India, or it grew in the automobile sector where people are not walking now, people are not running now, people are not using bullock cart now. Everywhere vehicle. This is what the culture government promoted in the mind of people, and this is the condition now. Then in agriculture sector, in household sector, no one can live little bit warm also. People need air condition, not fan. People need air condition. And this is the what mentality. If you don't use air condition, you will feel hot. But if you sustain through that hot, then you will never feel fall sick. That is also true. If it is very hot and if you sustain through it, then you will never fall sick. But if you start using air conditioner and this and that, then your body condition will be like that. This is called oil consumption in India. Unnecessary. India is facing threat from the Russia, from the America. Unnecessary. It is, see the date. It is not required also. In India industrial growth. It is not India indigenous industrial growth. It is foreign countries industry growth in India. Unnecessary. Population become double and crude oil usage become 10 times. How it's possible? Not possible, right? If population is growing, poverty is growing. If poverty is growing, crude oil consumption should go low per human. Per person, crude oil consumption should go low because people are becoming poor day by day. But it is growing 10 times because this proves that people are poor because of petrol only. People are poor because of the petrol only. 10 times they are consuming petrol. If I say population grew 2 times and petrol consumption grew 10 times, 5 times, one person is using 5 times more petrol than 1980 time frame. They were not human at that time. Now every person is using 5 times petrol what people were using at that time. Now not only that, because of the usage of the petrol, People are falling sick. First they are giving money to the petrol bank. Whatever they are earning, they are giving it to petrol bank. What are remaining in their hand, they are giving to hospital. Okay, what is remaining to them? They are going to buy the food grains and milk, plastic milk and food grain that is made of urea and DAP fertilizer. This is called looting people. The mindset of people have changed, that India is bending in front of Russia or America for the crude oil, which is absolutely not required. In 1980, if crude oil requirement of India was 0.7 million barrel per day, then it should have been 1.4 million barrel per day today as per the population. But see where we are. This is called looting people, and people are getting looted in terms of hi-fi life, very spectacular life. This is a spectacular life. People are playing badminton and they are dying there one. People are dancing and they are dying one. People are standing, they are dying one there one. People are sitting on the chair, they are collapsing there one because of the petrol one. Petrol. See the condition of petrol of India. Anyway, so India produces around 1 million barrel now and it needs 5.2 million barrel. People understand why it needs now. This is called government of India. That's why I said, say government of India means looting government. You can say like that. Anyway, what I believe we will proceed in this discussion. There are many points here that we will talk. We will talk about United States also. We will talk about the China condition also. Then we will talk about where India producing oil. If India is producing 1 million barrel oil per day, then where it is producing? What is the statistics of United States? Because these three countries, China, India, and America, they consume maximum petroleum oil. What is their statistic as far as population is concerned? What is their statistic as far as production is concerned? What is their statistic as far as consumption is concerned? That we will take, because this is something that is changing the world.